The Gamasutra Job board is the most diverse, active and established board of its kind for the video game industry. Here is just one of the many positions being advertised right now. Location: San Diego, California. The Behemoth is growing more behemoth. We are looking for an experienced person who can help develop and coordinate all of our marketing-related initiatives. About the job. About you. Minimum qualifications. Full-time position at our offices in San Diego, California. Legal, unrestricted right to work in the United States of America is required. Interested? Apply now. Whether you are just starting out, looking for something new, or just seeing what's out there, the Gamasutra Job board is the place where game developers move ahead in their careers. Gamasutra Job board is the most diverse, most active, and most established board of its kind in the video game industry, serving companies of all sizes, from indie to AAA. Looking for a new job? Get started here. Are you a recruiter looking for talent? Post jobs here. Swedish developer publisher Paradox Interactive just experienced its best year to date, according to the company's financials for the full year, ended December 31st,
2018.
The Stellaris and the surviving mass publisher saw full-year revenues increase by 39% year-on-year to $13,120.9 million, while operating profits rose by 35% to $455.1 million, $38.7 million. The company also posted its best income quarter on the books during Q4, despite not releasing any new titles. Paradox CEO Ebba Ljungerud said it's a result that demonstrates the strength of the firm's core strategy of developing and supporting games in the long term, through continuous updates and expansions. She also noted the increasing appeal of Paradox's console lineup, revealing that while only a few of the company's most successful titles are available on consoles, those releases actually accounted for 12% of its overall revenue. Continuous updates and expansions give our games a long life, both in terms of number of players and recurring revenue, explained Ljungerud. During the year, we released 16 expansions to existing games, of which 6 were released during the fourth quarter of 2018. Many of our games continue to be popular many years after release. Europa Universalis IV and Crusader Kings II were released more than 5 and 7 years ago, respectively, but continue to attract both new and existing players. Moving forward, Paradox is keen to expand into other genres, and said its recent acquisition of prison architect developer Introversion will serve as a building block for further growth within the management unit. During 2018, the company invested $304 million, $32.5 million into game development and spent another $155 million, $16.6 million on the acquisition of studios and brands, but said it plans to spend even more in the coming year. It is important to point out that our growth journey is just beginning. In 2019 we will invest more than ever in building for the future, continued Ljungerud. Constantly adding new games and brands to our portfolio remains a key part of our strategy. It helps ensure longevity and lessens our dependency on all releases being hugely successful from day one. It's no secret that the industry needs to see a massive shift in order to quell developer anxiety over job stability, where there's often more safety net to support laid-off workers. Game developer Chrionis details the times She lived in constant fear of losing her job, which is not unreasonable given the industry's track record of laying off its workers. As an added bonus, Chrionis and her husband are both developers, adding an extra layer of pressure should one of them lose their jobs. We have our dream jobs, in theory, she writes, but neither one of us has ever worked for a company longer than 3 years. Despite our best efforts, how do you have a stable life in an industry which does not seem to offer one? To Chrionis, only being able to plan the year ahead, as opposed to many years, because of work uncertainty was normal. It goes without saying that it should not be anybody's normal. She landed her first job in the industry at Microsoft Game Studios in 2013. We were part of a group of new grad employees who had been hired to bring fresh talent to departments throughout X, with the goal that many of us would become lifetime employees. Chrionis explains, "We'd all worked hard. This sort of job had always been the dream, and here we were. Things were fantastic for a few months. It did not last. Whispers of reorganization began to spread around the office, and Chrionis was not sure what it meant, but knew enough to be scared. Management called our entire group of new grads into a conference room to let us know we would be let go at the end of our first year." She writes, Microsoft had funded this hiring program, but then, somewhere in all those calculations and reassessments of profit and loss in the following months, it had been scrapped. Chrionis explains how she and her peers had been promised careers, growth, and mentorship under Microsoft. Most of the original group of devs had worked with and not have been involved in games anymore. That sort of experience sticks with you. It was my first time being laid off in the games industry, and it would not be the last. Be sure to check out the entire piece over at Polygon, where Chrionis goes into more detail about her previous layoffs. It's important, and well worth the read. Sqool is a game that puts you in an art school, giving you artistic prompts and grading you on your performance. It's built to inspire the player in moving past the daunting feeling of the blank canvas, helping them find inspiration through the game's places and paintbrushes. Gamasutra sat down with Julian Glander, creator of Sqool, to talk about the thoughts that went into creating a world built to draw out creativity from the player, designing prompts that would help the player get started, and giving the player fun tools that help them express the visions in their heads. The game actually started last spring, as a completely different prototype about a girl driving around in a super cute pink car, searching for her lost dog in a pastel city space. Basically a gentle The first assignment was that the player would draw a missing dog poster that would show up on telephone poles throughout the game. That ended up being the most fun part of the game, so I rolled with it. I really like the feeling of drawing with a chunky, pixelated digital brush, and it's something I have wanted to put into a game for years. As someone who works as an illustrator animator, drawing and creativity and the process of art, making art is a big focus of mine, and I think those themes have been traditionally underexplored in games. There are a few standout examples that I kept thinking about, like Mario Paint and Pokemon Snap. But the number of games where art is the underlying mechanical kind, a few and far between. I really want Sqool to explore some questions about creativity and inspiration, which sometimes feels so magical and ethereal, and how you can fit that into a computer game, which is such a rigid and binary system by definition. Every time I have watched someone stream the game, they have had a different wild theory about how AI works. I will reveal the truth eventually. but I kinda wanna keep it top secret for a little while longer. I guess, for this one I mostly looked outside of games. A lot of design choices were inspired by outdoor sculpture parks. We have some good ones in the NY area stomaching, on the Deer Beacon upstate, Socrates Sculpture Park in Queens. And I was also a little inspired by the Pratt campus in Clinton Hill, which has a lot of cool outdoor artwork. The thing that all these parks do well is play with scale, creating huge larger-than-life moments to soak in as well as little things to discover. The layout of the art school campus, which is divided into a bunch of floating islands in space, was inspired by many golf courses, as well as the game Super Monkey Ball. I love how in both of those scenarios you have an area that you are supposed to be focusing on, but you can see other parts of the game in the distance. There's something really mystical about it.